Hello and welcome to Tableau. Today I'm going to be showing you 3 new chart types that are inside of Tableau Desktop version 8.0. These 3 new chart types all have a very different layout than what you're used to in Tableau. So we thought it would be a good idea to show you how to build them and maybe how to use them. So we're going to be looking today at Treemaps, word clouds, and bubble charts. We're lumping them all together just because they're very similar chart types. They all show a lot of information in a very small amount of area, which is kind of nice when you have a lot of different measures and dimensions and you want to only really see the most important ones. So let's take a look at how to build a tree map first. I'm going to go ahead and create a new view and show you the easy way. If I open Show Me, we'll notice that there's a couple new chart types that are inside of Show Me in version 8.0. We have our tree maps and our packed bubbles or bubble charts. So all I really need to do is just control select a dimension, so something like our product category, and a measure, something like sales. And we'll notice that there's some options here. We can just select tree maps and we're off and running. We've created our tree map. We can customize it from here. It's a really easy way to get started. What if I wanted to build one from scratch? So let's take a look at what actually goes into creating these tree maps. So we'll continue with our sales in our category as the dimension and measure that we want to use. So the first thing that I'm going to do is actually take my marks and force them into square. I'm going to go ahead and grab my category and drop that on level of detail. So we get a square for each one of our categories. And let's just define how we want to size those squares. If I grab sales and drop that on size, it'll create that tree map for you. Now previously using Show Me, it also dropped the sum of sales on color. So I can do that as well. And it also took category, and instead of on detail, it actually had it on label. So I'm just going to go ahead and change that as well. And that's the same chart that we had before. Let's do a little more customization and talk about when tree maps don't work. So what if I wanted to see profit here? If I take profit and I drop profit on size, looks like it worked, but what's actually happening? We have a negative value in here. We can't size something in the negative in that particular case. So when you're sizing your tree maps, right, you're sizing the panes for your tree maps, you're not going to want to use a measure that has negative values. You're going to want to stick to the positive. But we can still include some information about negative values, or any value for that matter, on your tree map. And the way I'm going to do that is actually take the sum of my sales and we'll put that back on size. And I'm just going to take profit and put it on color. Maybe I want to add a little bit more information about profit. I'll also put that on label. And we can really go down and throw whatever we want onto our marks card to customize how we want this tree map to look. Another interesting way to use these tree maps is to take another dimension, something like your regions, and drop that on your rows. That's actually going to create a bar chart out of your tree maps. If I exclude international, we'll get a better view. Maybe fit the width as well. So very robust and easily customizable. Tree maps are a great way to see a large amount of data in a small area. Let's go ahead and take a look at how to build word clouds. This is even easier. It's not even in Show Me, just simply because it's so simple to do. All we really need is to take one of our dimensions. So maybe this time let's use, I don't know, continent, and put that on text. So there's a list of all of our continents. And let's actually just size this by the number of records. How many transactions do we have for each continent? Notice that the view actually automatically swapped to tree map. So what I'm actually going to do is just force it to text, and you've got your word cloud. Maybe I want to take a more granular dimension and put that on label. We can just go ahead and grab anything we want here. So let's go ahead and take our mapping items and do this by state. Pull country off. Here's a word cloud of all of our states based on our number of transactions. We can still use color in this particular case, so let's take profit and drop that on color. We get our high profit and high transaction values just jumping right out at us. Everything else kind of falls to the background. So that's one application for word clouds. There's another great set of applications for survey data. But yeah, these are another way to show very simply a lot of information, but really have the only important values are the ones that pop out at you. The last chart type that we're going to take a look at is a bubble chart. Very similar to Treemaps. We're going to take one of our dimensions. So let's take category again and let's drop it on size. Excuse me, let's just put that on label for now. And then let's take our measure, maybe sales, and we'll drop that on size. Again, it's going to default to your tree map or your squares. But what we might want to do is actually just force that into circles. And now we've got our bubble chart. Another thing that you can do with these charts is sort them, just like any other chart. So let's go ahead and just sort this, and we'll have our big values in the middle and everything else kind of pittering out on the outside. Again, we can add some more information to this. So maybe let's take profit and put it on color, and maybe put it on label as well. Just another way of visualizing the same sort of data. So hopefully this was helpful in explaining how to build these charts from scratch. There's a workbook attached to this video that you can download on this page and try it for yourself. So I would strongly encourage that if you want to do a little extra work and try it for yourself. But other than that, thank you, and thank you for your time.